Good afternoon, everyone. Wow, look at this turnout. Thank you so much. If you don't already know me, like Amanda said, I'm Noah Arbit, and I've never been prouder to be the founder and chair of the Michigan Democratic Jewish Caucus. You know, one of the first calls I made when I started the Jewish Caucus was to Senator Carl Levin. I never really expected him to call me back. After all, I was just a 23-year-old political nerd from West Bloomfield. But to my shock, a few days later, I got a call from a 313 number. Hello? Is this Noah? Yeah, who is this? This is Carl Levin. If I tell you that my heart nearly stopped, that would be an understatement. But it meant the world to me and spoke volumes about the kind of man that Carl Levin was, that he took the time to talk to me, to help nurture and support my vision for the Jewish Caucus. And then he gave the keynote speech at our first summer Simcha in 2019. And what he said has stayed with me ever since. He said, Michigan Jewish Democrats. Each one of those words has a great responsibility and a special meaning. And he was right. He was absolutely right. Carl's passing is devastating for all Michiganders, but it cuts especially deep for the Jewish community. How easily we forget. Carl Levin was born in 1934. He came of age in the aftermath of World War II, at a time when discrimination against Jewish people was systemic. But he grew up to be our senator, the first and only Jew to represent Michigan in the United States Senate. That is remarkable. My friends, Carl Levin embodied the best of Michigan, the best of Judaism, the best of the Democratic Party, and the best of America. And his memory is already a blessing for all of us. And so it is to honor and continue the work that Carl Levin started that I welcome you all in person to this year's Summer Simcha. Governor Whitmer, on behalf of all of us, I want to thank you for your extraordinary leadership, for all you have endured with grit and grace, and to tell you that Michigan's Jewish community stands with you. And we stand too, with our fearless Attorney General, Dana Nessel. The Jewish community owes you a debt of gratitude because you have fought for us by going toe-to-toe with neo-Nazis and white supremacists and are proof that, yes, representation matters. Our story begins over 2 years ago. Having just come off the governor's campaign, I was restless for a new project. Controversies over anti-Semitism were boiling over in the national discourse, and to me, it spoke to a larger problem. For decades, politicians would speak in front of Jewish audiences, make positive noises about supporting Israel, and walk away thinking they had the Jewish vote locked. But that doesn't cut it anymore. Not now. Not for me, and certainly not for my generation. And I believed fiercely that our Jewish community needed political leaders who understood the issues facing our community right here, right now. But how to achieve that? In March 2019, I had my answer, and the Michigan Democratic Jewish Caucus was born. Our mission is to provide a voice for Michigan's Jewish community within the Democratic Party to empower and mobilize Jewish Michiganders on behalf of candidates, causes, and issues we believe in, and in so doing, build a better, stronger, and fairer future for Michigan and America. This kind of political platform is revolutionary for our community. We're the only Jewish organization in the entire state of Michigan that endorses candidates for state and federal office and helps raise money for them. The only one. And since 2019, MDJC has endorsed 50 candidates, raised nearly $200,000, recruited nearly 3,000 members across 30 counties, held over 40 public events, and garnered media coverage in over 80 articles from the Free Press, Detroit News, Washington Post, CBS, CNN, Politico, People Magazine, and more. Thank you. Not only was our 2020 program the largest investment in Jewish voter mobilization in Michigan history, but we scaled to become a national model, launching the Jewish Battleground Coalition to share the lessons of our success with counterparts in Arizona, Florida, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Texas, and Wisconsin. In short, this plucky, dynamic, ambitious organization punched well above its weight and actually made a difference, especially in a state like Michigan, where just a few thousand votes here and there helped elect Joe and Kamala, Gary, Alyssa, Haley, and so many others. Now, as Jews, we know well that when democracy falters, minority groups are among the first to be threatened. And it's why we must use our collective voice to fight not only anti-Semitism, but also systemic racism, misogyny, homophobia, Islamophobia, xenophobia, and anti-Asian hate together. Because, my friends, there is no contradiction between fighting for our rights and the rights of others. But that is why I am so disturbed by what I see, both on the far right and the far left. On the one hand, we have hypocritical Republicans who wax poetic about standing up for Israel and Jews, all the while stoking extremism, conspiracy theories, and pandering to white nationalists. Like when a Republican state representative compared COVID tracing to the yellow stars foisted upon Jews during the Holocaust. Or how Mike Shirkey, the Republican leader of the Michigan Senate, inspired an armed mob to storm the state capitol, waving signs comparing Gretchen to Hitler. Or when the former president saw good people among the neo-Nazis chanting, "Jews will not replace us," in Charlottesville. In case it wasn't obvious, Republicans could not care less about the safety and welfare of American Jews. And yet, I know some in our community have the same fear about Democrats. I want to say, look around you. Look at all the friends we have today. But I know that's not enough. We've all felt the shift in attitudes on the far left. These days, when I log on to social media or dating apps like any 25-year-old, I am immediately interrogated by so-called progressives seeking to hold me, and by implication all Jews, responsible for actions of the Israeli government. Not because I stated an opinion on the matter, but because I have the gall to put on my profile that I am Jewish. That is rank anti-Semitism. And my experiences are hardly unique, and that is by no means the worst example. And too often, elected officials on the fringe of our own party traffic in anti-Semitic rhetoric, while their supporters deem all those who dare critique them of undermining the left. Undermining the left. Every movement for justice in American history, labor rights, women's rights, civil rights, gay rights, has seen the Jewish community on the front lines. Rabbi Heschel, Samuel Gompers, Harvey Milk, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So yes, I am concerned by a left that time and again fails to return solidarity with Jewish people and often seems to demand that I choose between love of my people and fidelity to my values. Well, my friends, I refuse to choose. I refuse to choose. So we won't let those people tell us what we stand for. We won't let them tell us what the Democratic Party stands for. It is up to us. We are going to fight for the future of our community, our party, our state, our country, because we are proud Michiganders, we are proud Jews, and we are proud Democrats, and there is no contradiction. So that is why we are here, because though caught between far right and far left, we still believe in a better future, and we cannot be divided in this moment. A moment in which the Republican Party has become unmoored from reality and is attempting to subvert the people's right to elect their own government. So imagine for a moment what would have been if Democrats hadn't won in 2018 and 2020. I'll tell you, tens of thousands more Michiganders would have died of COVID without Whitmer's decisive action. Our rights would be under attack without Nessel going to court to protect them. And make no mistake, the 2020 election would not have been certified without our Democratic House majority. In 2022, democracy itself hangs in the balance, and the Jewish community must once again be on the front lines. And lest there be any doubt, let us recall the ancient words of Rabbi Hillel. If I am not for myself, who will be for me? But if I am only for myself, what am I? And if not now, when? I am struck by how Hillel's question, which is rooted so deeply at the heart of Jewish identity and Jewish philosophy, also represents the best of what it means to be a Democrat, and indeed what it means to be an American. Because as Jews, we believe in Tikkun Olam, the duty each of us has to repair the world. And as Democrats, we believe that our own interests are served when the greatest number of our fellow Americans have access to the rights and liberties that enable them to go as far as their talents and ambitions will take them. And it is these values, both Jewish and democratic, which bring us together as a community and which will carry us forward to victory. So, my friends, let us pledge together to never stop fighting for that better, stronger, fairer future that we believe in as Jews and as Democrats. That is why we are here. That is why we fight. If not now, when? I truly believe that the success of the Michigan Democratic Jewish Caucus is a testament to the fact that our community is committed to fighting for a better future for our state, nation, and world. Once again, I thank you all so much for being here. Leading this organization and fighting on behalf of our community is the honor of a lifetime. Thank you for believing that this cause is worthy, for believing that giving a voice to Jewish Democrats in Michigan is a critical goal as we work to build a stronger, more inclusive state and nation. But now, we need more leaders in our community to step up and run for office, from school boards to township boards to the state legislature and beyond. 2022 is just around the corner, and I'm thinking about running. But if there's one message that I want to leave you with today, it's that our Jewish community has an indispensable role to play in defending our democracy. And I know we will rise to that challenge together. Thank you so much, and good night.